Aliyah did say I have a special whistle. She shot on the team. Yeah. Yeah. She said the last game I had a special whistle. It's cool.
So let's just get this straight. The Las Vegas Aces have been the direct beneficiaries of a special whistle all season long, but now suddenly Becky Hammon and Aliyah Wilson want to cry foul. In a pivotal Game 4, the Indiana Fever completely dominated the boards. They relentlessly attacked the paint, and they rightfully earned more free throws. And yet, after the game, Aliyah Wilson had the audacity to claim that it was Aliyah Boston who had gotten a special whistle. But what Aliyah Boston really had was pure, unadulterated dominance. 24 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists. The Indiana Fever didn't just win this game, they completely exposed the Las Vegas Aces' pathetic excuses as pure laughable comedy. So what do you think? Was it a special whistle, or was it just Aliyah Boston being completely and utterly unstoppable? Let us know in the comments. Why are the Las Vegas Aces suddenly crying about the referees after 3 consecutive games of getting every single soft call imaginable? From the very start of this series, the Indiana Fever have been on the wrong end of the whistles. We've seen Aliyah Boston get tagged with a foul just for sealing her position in the post. We've seen Kelsey Mitchell get whistled for sliding her feet with barely any contact. All the while, Las Vegas was busy cashing in, with Aliyah Wilson living at the line and free points steadily piling up. But the very moment the Indiana Fever flipped the script in Game 4, the moment they started to attack the paint and actually earn their own trips to the stripe, the entire Las Vegas Aces sideline went into a full-scale public meltdown.
Looking at that box score, I'm wondering what's really standing out to you there.
I was looking for fouls. Like, Liz had 5, Jackie had 5, Chelsea had 5. And that's very interesting to me because I'm not saying we don't foul. Yeah, we foul here, but very interesting.
Why are the Aces suddenly crying about refs after 3 games of getting every soft call imaginable? From the start of this series,
you could see the entire story play out all over Becky Hammon's face. Every single time Aliyah Boston successfully bodied up on Aliyah Wilson, her hands would fly up in a gesture of pure, unadulterated disbelief. By the end of the night, she didn't even bother to try and explain away the disparity. The raw, undeniable numbers spoke with a volume that was far louder than any of her words could have been. The Indiana Fever went to the free throw line a staggering 34 times, while the Las Vegas Aces only managed a paltry 11 attempts. When she was asked about this glaring discrepancy post-game, Becky Hammon simply brushed it off with a curt, "They shot 34 free throws and we shot 11. Next question. That was not strategy talk. That was pure, unfiltered frustration. And it showed with a crystal clarity just how dependent the Las Vegas Aces have become on always having the whistle on their side.
He certainly felt like a differently officiated game than other parts of the series. I think we had more expensive 3 seconds today than any other part of the playoffs. I just wonder how you felt about the overall flow of the game.
Well, they shot 34 free throws and we shot 11. Next question.
And here is the real fundamental reason that Indiana got to the free throw line so often. It was not some sudden conspiratorial shift in referee bias. It was the direct result of their game plan. The Indiana Fever attacked the basket relentlessly. Aliyah Boston sealed her position deep in the paint. Kelsey Mitchell and the rest of the guards consistently and aggressively forced contact at the rim, and as a team, they lived in the paint. That is how you draw fouls. It is basic basketball. Las Vegas, on the other hand, consistently settled for jumpers and relied heavily on Aliyah Wilson's one-on-one isolations, generating very little consistent rim pressure outside of her. And yet, after the game, Aliyah Wilson still tried to flip the entire script, sarcastically claiming that Aliyah Boston must have had a special whistle because she shot so many free throws, a statement of pure dripping sarcasm coming from the very player who had been living off of that exact same whistle for the first 3 games of the series.
I gotta go back and look at the tape, but it seemed like there was a lot of grabbing and holding down there. That got called one way. Anything else? I did appreciate it was a little tighter called, but tighter on both ends would have been nice.
And here's the truly funniest part of this entire charade. When you actually look at the total number of fouls called across all 4 games of this series, the numbers are basically even. Both teams are hovering right around the exact same number, so whatever perceived edge the Indiana Fever got in Game 4 wasn't some grand conspiracy, it was simply the scales of balance finally correcting themselves after being so heavily tilted in one direction. The Las Vegas Aces did not lose to the refs. They lost to the Indiana Fever, who relentlessly hammered the paint and completely outworked them. The fact that 3 of their starters picked up 5 fouls wasn't a case of the officials targeting Las Vegas. It was a testament to Indiana consistently forcing mismatches and making them defend possession after grueling possession in the post. That is called strategy, not favoritism. Now add in Becky Hammon's monumental blunder of calling a timeout she didn't even have, which handed the Indiana Fever a crucial technical free throw in crunch time, and the comedy of errors was complete. The Las Vegas Aces beat themselves just as much as the Indiana Fever beat them, but only the Fever get the credit for so brilliantly capitalizing on every single one of those mistakes. In the end, that post-game meltdown was nothing but a smokescreen, a desperate attempt to hide the undeniable truth. The Las Vegas Aces were not sabotaged, they were simply shoved around. They lost the battle on the boards, they surrendered the paint, and they ultimately paid the price for it. And that special whistle Aliyah Wilson so bitterly complained about, it was just the sound of the Indiana Fever playing special championship-level basketball. And at the very heart of it all stood Aliyah Boston. From the opening tip, she firmly planted herself in the paint and made it abundantly clear to everyone that she was not moving. This was the marquee head-to-head matchup that everyone had circled, MVP Aliyah Wilson versus the ascending all-star Aliyah Boston. And the prevailing assumption was that Aliyah Wilson's superior experience and finesse would ultimately tilt the balance in her favor. Instead, Aliyah Boston completely flipped the script, violently dragging the power in her direction by forcing Las Vegas to deal with her relentless physicality for a full 40 minutes.
So many other plays where it felt like Asia was bullying other players on the Fever, and I want you to watch this play here with Lexi Hall. She's standing her ground, she's trying to down screen, and Asia just chucks her to the ground. Now there was no whistle there, and you can see ref number 16 right there. He's watching the whole thing happen. No whistle, they just kind of let it go.
Aliyah Wilson still managed to get her numbers. A 31-point stat line looks incredibly dominant on paper, but anyone who was actually watching the game saw just how utterly exhausting it was for her to earn every single one of them. Every catch she made came with Aliyah Boston's body already leaning into her, strategically shoving her off of her sweet spots, and methodically pushing her further and further away from the rim. What usually comes so easy for the MVP had now been transformed into a brutal possession-by-possession grind, and as the game wore on, that constant, unrelenting pressure clearly began to wear her down. The resulting ripple effect was undeniable. The rest of the Las Vegas Aces never managed to find any kind of offensive rhythm, as they were stuck watching their star player fight for every single bucket instead of effortlessly flowing within their usual high-powered offense. That's right.
And 4.
What? Oh my God, that's interesting. That's what I was looking at. So we'll get through it.
By interesting, do you mean that shit?
Yeah, I can say it. I got a brand, but
Say it, I have no brain.
yeah, it's interesting.
And on the other end of the floor, Aliyah Boston's own stat line spoke for itself. 24 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. She went an incredibly efficient 7 for 15 from the floor. She coolly sank 10 of her 13 attempts from the stripe, and she completely and utterly dictated the entire game on both ends. This wasn't just a case of scoring, this was an exhibition of complete total control. Every single possession for the Indiana Fever was now flowing through her commanding presence. While Aliyah Wilson was burning all of her energy, just grinding for contested shots, Aliyah Boston remained efficient, poised, and relentlessly effective. The critical difference in this game was how deep she was able to establish her seals in the post. Instead of being pushed out to the perimeter like she had been earlier in the series, she powerfully muscled her way into prime position, consistently catching the ball right near the rim, a spot where the Las Vegas Aces had absolutely no choice but to foul her. Those trips to the free throw line were not gifts from the refs. They were the direct and calculated result of Aliyah Boston forcing the issue and making the Las Vegas Aces pay for the kind of contact contact they simply could not avoid.
As soon as Aliyah Boston helps it all with the guard, Vegas has been very quick and decisive getting the ball to A'ja Wilson.
Entry pass, Boston. Guarded by Wilson. Boston takes it to her.
Efficient and effective. Look at where she catches the ball initially, working hard, regains it, then comes back and goes.
Just think back to the previous game in this series. The Las Vegas Aces completely swarmed Aliyah Boston early on, forcefully pushing her out of all of her comfort spots, and the strategy absolutely worked. She looked rushed, she turned the ball over, and she never once managed to find any kind of rhythm. But in Game 4, she completely and utterly flipped the script. She steadied her powerful base, she remained incredibly patient against the relentless double teams, and when the defense inevitably collapsed on her, she punished it by dishing out 5 crucial assists to open shooters on the perimeter. That is the definitive mark of a superstar who is learning on the fly. This performance wasn't just a simple bounce back, it was a display of elite postseason level adaptation, the very kind of in-game adjustment that separates the good players from the truly great ones.
Right. Boston able to hook it in.
But Boston does.
Oh, knocks it away. Boston the steal. Sims ahead of the field will lay it in. Who is in the game? Melissa Smith is who sat down with Lloyd coming in. Backdoor, Mitchell lays it in on a beautiful delivery from Boston. Well,
A'ja Wilson desperately tried to flip the entire story after the game by pathetically suggesting that Aliyah Boston had received some kind of special treatment from the referees, but the game tape shows the complete and total opposite. This was not a case of the officials gifting Aliyah Boston a series of calls. This was a case of Aliyah Boston gifting the Las Vegas Aces a series of bruises. She absorbed the constant contact, she dished it right back, and she kept on playing through it on both ends of the floor. So if you want to call it special, then call it what it truly was. Special control, not special favoritism. The single biggest question of this entire series was whether or not the Indiana Fever could possibly match the overwhelming star power of the Las Vegas Aces. And Game 4 just answered that question with a deafening, thunderous roar. Aliyah Boston didn't just match A'ja Wilson, she completely and fundamentally shifted the entire balance of the series. The paint, which was once the undisputed territory of A'ja Wilson, now belongs solely to Aliyah Boston. And with her so forcefully setting that foundational tone, the Indiana Fever's entire supporting cast piled on, brilliantly turning that interior dominance into an unstoppable wave that the Las Vegas Aces simply could not contain.
What were you seeing or feeling out there that let you have the night that you had?
Just trying to be aggressive. Oh, hello. Oh, there we go. Just trying to be aggressive. Post up, seal, focus, and finish, and get to the free throw line.
Steph or Aliyah, did either of you see anything on tape the last couple of games for you specifically to try to get you more looks or better looks, especially as you did in that second half?
Yeah, I mean, we've watched a lot of film, but I think for me, just working on my positioning, trying to get...
Aliyah Boston may have firmly anchored the win, but when the game inevitably tightened, it was the formidable supporting cast that ensured the Indiana Fever held firm, a charge that was led by the unstoppable Kelsey Mitchell. She delivered a critical 25 points, shooting an efficient 9 of 20 from the field, mixing in a series of timely threes, and knocking down nearly everything she took at the free throw line. But she was more than just a scorer on this night. She also added 4 crucial assists, expertly reading the Las Vegas Aces' overloaded coverages and consistently finding her open teammates. Against a relentless Aces defense that pressured every single perimeter touch, Kelsey Mitchell still managed to carve out just enough space for herself, rising up over contests, slashing past late defensive rotations, and answering every single Las Vegas bucket with a bucket of her own.
It's been unleashed. Powers into the game for the first time. Here's Boston working young and finishing.
Let's give some love where it's due. The post work. Aliyah Boston sees a guard on her. The double comes, passes back out. So what does she do? She reposts, puts her right hand up.
And Kelsey Mitchell's incredible performance carried an extra profound weight because of everything she has personally endured with this franchise. She has been through the absolute heartbreak of Indiana dropping countless games just like this in past seasons, but this time, she simply and defiantly refused to let it happen again. Her sheer, relentless effort single-handedly ensured that the Indiana Fever walked out of that arena with the series tied at 2 games apiece. The sidelined Caitlin Clark captured the essence of the moment perfectly from her courtside seat. She leaned over to a teammate and said, simply, "Kelsey, unreal," and that in its purest form was the absolute truth. On the biggest stage, under the absolute brightest of lights, Kelsey Mitchell didn't just show up, she completely and utterly owned the entire moment.
Coming off the on ball, getting her feet set.
2-point game. Boston center of the lane. Finishes plus the foul.
The concerted effort to get Aliyah Boston a touch in the paint. That time, A'ja Wilson, his arm is caught around, so she fouls her on the left side while Boston...
But Kelsey Mitchell did not carry that immense load alone. Lexi Hull delivered a performance that will likely outlast her modest 7 points in the fans' collective memories. For a full 38 minutes, she was practically glued to Jackie Young, an all-star and one of the Las Vegas Aces' steadiest and most reliable scorers. Hull hauled in 7 crucial rebounds, she swiped 4 steals, and she even added a block, all while courageously battling through a painful back injury that has plagued her this entire postseason. Her sheer grit was stamped on every single hustle play, as she was seen diving for loose balls and relentlessly fighting for box outs against bigger forwards, tilting the game's momentum with pure, unadulterated effort. The impact of her presence was undeniably obvious. When she sat, Jackie Young found her rhythm, and when she returned, the clamp snapped right back shut. That is the kind of profound defensive commitment that doesn't always make the highlight reels, but it is exactly what wins playoff games. And then came Odyssey Sims, looking nothing like the player who had struggled so mightily in Game 3. She bounced back in a huge and definitive way, dropping a critical 18 points on an incredibly efficient 6 of 9 shooting, along with a couple of assists. On every single possession, she relentlessly hunted for seams in the Las Vegas defense, pulling up for mid-range jumpers whenever they sagged off of her, and drawing fouls whenever they pressed up. That unwavering confidence completely changed the entire dynamic of the Indiana Fever's offense, with Odyssey Sims consistently carving paths into the paint. A'ja Wilson and the rest of the Las Vegas bigs were forced to shift off of Aliyah Boston at times, which in turn created more balance and more space all across the floor. It was the exact kind of bounce-back performance that turns immense pressure into unstoppable momentum.
Mitchell dances, takes, and connects. Who is in the game? Melissa Smith is who sat down with Lloyd coming in. Backdoor, Mitchell lays it in on a beautiful delivery from Boston, plus the foul.
Oh, here. Kelsey Mitchell so quick, just one step, Bell bites.
Shea Petty's individual numbers from this game won't exactly jump off the page. 7 points, 3 boards, 2 steals, all in just 16 minutes of play. But her impact on the game was steady, calming, and ultimately invaluable. Whenever the Las Vegas Aces threatened to swing the momentum back in their favor, her veteran poise single-handedly steadied the Indiana Fever. She knocked down a series of timely shots, she effectively spaced the floor, and she masterfully managed possessions that could have easily and disastrously unraveled in less capable hands. In a semifinal series this tense, that kind of veteran composure is absolutely priceless, and together that formidable supporting cast brilliantly turned Aliyah Boston's utter dominance in the paint into a full team surge that the Las Vegas Aces simply could not contain. And now all of this sets the stage for the ultimate test, a do-or-die Game 5 back in Las Vegas, with the Aces' entire season on the line, and the Indiana Fever now believing they have more than just a puncher's chance. The challenge? Walking into Michelob Ultra Arena, which is universally considered one of the league's toughest and most hostile environments, a place where Las Vegas went 17-5 in the regular season, and a place where they thrive on crowd-fueled momentum. The Las Vegas Aces will be absolutely desperate. For the Indiana Fever, the key will be to drown out all of that external noise with their own internal composure, to stay disciplined, and to prove that their incredible Game 4 performance was not just a statement, it was a fundamental shift in control. The challenge for Indiana now is that their entire Game 4 blueprint is already on tape, and you can bet the farm that Las Vegas has meticulously studied every single post-seal Aliyah Boston established, every pick and roll Kelsey Mitchell converted, and every single rebound that swung the game's momentum. The Aces will adjust, so the Fever's job now is to strike first. That entire strategy starts with Aliyah Boston touching the ball early and often. If she can set up deep in the post right from the opening possessions, Aliyah Wilson will be forced to burn a tremendous amount of energy just battling her physicality, and the longer Aliyah Boston controls the paint, the tougher it becomes for Las Vegas to dictate the pace of the game. But that interior attack only works if the floor stays spaced, which makes Kelsey Mitchell's outside aggression absolutely essential. Her shooting stretches Las Vegas thin, forcing them to pick their poison. Do they collapse on Boston, or do they step out and contest the arc? Defensively, the spotlight once again shifts to Lexi Hull.
I don't think that's
Jackie
a bad
Young will be
Paul.
locked in, so Hull's ability to stay glued to her without fouling
Here's
is
Mitchell.
absolutely crucial.
Mitchell
And then
able to
it is on
hit.
Odyssey Sims and
Right
Shea
here, she
Petty
gets
to
the
steer
handoff. I mean, this is a
entire
tough
offense
shot.
under
Jackie
the
Young
immense
right there.
pressure,
Oh,
because in
yeah.
Game 5, every single
like
wasted
she needed a
possession
guitar
is
in
a
her
crack that the
hand,
Las
right?
Vegas Aces can and will exploit.
Working behind Boston. Mitchell flings it out. Sims. Stupid.
One game away from the final. Where you came from, in August when people were going down with injuries. I mean, how do you wrap your head around that, knowing that there's still work to be done?
Yeah, honestly, for me, all the credit has to go to God. Seriously, I mean, just thinking about where we are right now, just like you said, we lost people to injuries, and no one stepped down, no one dropped their heads. But I think Steph and the entire staff just did a great job of us telling us, like, listen, it doesn't matter who's in this locker room, it's about who's in here, and we're going to do everything we can to be successful, and we just kept working.
The ultimate X factor in this final game will undoubtedly be rebounding. The Indiana Fever absolutely crushed Las Vegas on the glass in Game 4, winning the battle 34-22, but duplicating that feat on the road will not be easy. Natasha Howard, Brianna Turner, Nalissa Smith, and Ariel Powers will all have to chip in to keep the desperate Aces from getting those soul-crushing second chance points. If the Indiana Fever can once again own the boards and continue to earn trips to the free throw line, then their destiny will be firmly in their own hands. This is not just another game. A win here could completely reset the entire future of the franchise. The Indiana Fever were never even supposed to be here. They have battled a relentless wave of catastrophic injuries all season long. They have no Caitlin Clark, no Sophie Cunningham, no Chloe Bibby, no Sydney Colson, and no Ari McDonald in these playoffs. And yet, they now stand just one single win away from the WNBA Finals. Head coach Stephanie White has called this a really special group, pointing to their incredible resilience and their profound unity in the face of all this adversity. And while the Las Vegas Aces are busy fuming about the whistles, the Indiana Fever just keep on finding ways to win. And that right there is the difference. Or, as the sidelined Caitlin Clark so perfectly and simply stated from the bench, one more. Game 5 in Las Vegas will now decide it all. And the Indiana Fever already have the blueprint. This leaves us with one final lingering question. What do you think of Aliyah Wilson's special whistle comment? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single breakdown. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.